So we are happy to have this guest today. We had to reschedule from last
So
week.
happy.
And I'm hoping she says she's feeling better. So that's good. Double thumbs up. But I'm excited because she goes as the Mystic Raven and her name is Mariesa. And I met her through her mom and we've been trying to connect for a while now. So she is a vibing kind of wise woman, very intuitive, and she's kind of witchy. So I am really excited to hear more about how she got started on this. She's very holistic and natural too. And I'm excited to hear more about how she got started on her journey and her path and like where she's at. And she has an exciting thing to share. So she's got like a new adventure that she's starting. And I'm excited to hear a little bit more about it today. So
This is going to be good.
I know. And I'm glad that you're here with me too, because this is definitely also something that you and I vibe with. So
yeah, I'm curious to understand more of her thinking process and like how when she faces chaos, the way she, navigates through her chaos.
yeah. Right. Because magic is chaos, right? Like all that. I mean, chaos is universal. Yeah.
You know how they say that like when shit goes down, that there's always good that comes out of it.
Yes.
I wonder how she like manages that. Does she go straight to, oh, okay, this is going to be okay? Does that help her get through it? Because that's just like a magic state of mind that you have to really play with in your head to, okay, everything's going to be okay.
That's curious. That like you just had some like really cool like nuggets of wisdom right there. Like some magic state of mind. I love it. I love that. That's so cool.
Right. You've got to like automatically think it's going to be okay instead of getting sucked into the tragedy.
Yeah.
And most times it's not tragic. It's just, a life event that's, day by day shit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You like flipping that mind script. I like that.
Yeah,
like magic is a state of mind. That's for sure. Because I mean, how many times do you get sucked up into like little tiny things or big things or medium things that happen like on the daily, on the regular, that you're kind of like, fuck, man, And then if you just let it just manifest into just like this negativity, then it just like the shitstorm just grows bigger, I was trying to explain that to my man babe because I was like, do you like living in like, you can have chaos, but like, do you like living in negativity all the time? You know what I'm saying? Like,
fun.
No fun at all. Zero fun, zero zip fun. I was trying to explain to him that he needs to just like allow the negativity to happen and then like let it go and not let it just seep into his entire being. Hello.
Right.
Hi,
how are you?
Hello.
How are you?
We're awesome. Welcome to the Chaos Table. Finally, you're here.
I know it.
I mean, it took a minute, but that's okay. We're just glad that you're here. This is
Carmen.
Best.
Yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
We were just hanging out. We were just hanging out and chit-chatting. I was sharing my man babe chaos and my kid chaos. And I know Carmen had something like really, I felt like just like a nugget of golden wisdom. She was just like, magic is like a state of mind and like chaos happens. I kind of like generalized it there, but we were just excited to talk to you a little bit about like, how did you get into this whole wide world of what you've got going on right now? Because I introduced you and chatted you up a little bit about the Mystic Raven and how your mom connected us. So that was kind of cool. And your mom and I connected too, like on a really cool energy level. And by the way, your mom is the best. She's so cool.
She is.
And you guys look like twins a little bit.
I know it. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Minus the dreads. Like, I don't think she has dreads. So, but, you're beautiful anyways. So yeah. So how did you get to becoming like the Mystic Raven and where did this all start from?
Well, when I was little, I always knew there was something more than what was taught to me. And there was always something more that met the eye. And I was always really in tune with nature and the spirit of nature in itself. And when I was little, I had encounters with animals that were really, in a way, it shaped my path. I mean, when I was like little, like old enough to ride a bike, I would, run away from home, when you do that when you're
Yeah,
little.
totally.
Mine would be to the woods. Trees. I always felt it's like I had this instinct to send any type of oppressive or negative energy that I felt in my body that I didn't know what to do with it. I always felt that the trees could take that away if I gave it to them. So I had like my own, like looking back now, I could see the rituals that I was doing. And they worked every time.
That's cool.
And then along my path, generally, especially in the West, like Christianity is the prevalent religion here. So that really, I got made like in church as a young kid, I got made to believe right away that there was something wrong with me and that everything I was doing was of the devil or something, just because it didn't look like, and to me, I was always so confused. I'm like, how could nature be the devil? Like I didn't understand, and then later on understanding, that's more of a system of control. Because like, it's like, with everything, you kind of see it, not to get like political or anything, but you see it in governmental systems, like they need a certain amount of control over people. So they tell you, you don't know what you're doing with anything. Yeah. So as I got older, wanting to just be my own self, I started diving into everything. A lot changed when I had my son. I did an all natural home birth and everything. And I remember when this baby came out of my body and I was holding him on my chest, like in that moment, I was like, everything I've ever learned or been taught about God is wrong. Because I would never do anything to harm this child. Like I would never do it. Like, so I like knew that everything that was taught to me about God was wrong, because I was like, if I can experience love to this capacity and God is supposed to be love, it's so much more beyond than what is taught. So that really made me like go like, I mean, I have like hundreds of books around me. Like I'm always reading and expanding. And so my like, I want to call it like hunt for truth. It's really like hunt for my truth of what I was here to step into. And what I always known to be true as a child. Like I always go back to that, like certain encounters I have, I always go back to that. Like that's the truth, because I wasn't indoctrinated yet. I came here knowing that, and I want more of that thing. So I always am studying and more so, even like the books can only get you so far. The rest has to come through experience. Yeah. So you have to go and talk to the trees and do things with the earth and the herbs and see how it works in your body and in your spirit and in your life.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah. I actually want, sometimes when I take my dogs for a walk, like, and then maybe that's true, but like I walk by certain palm trees and I feel like just like a connection to them. And I know, and I'm like, well, no. And then like your logical brain kicks in and you're like, no. But there's like some palm trees that you just feel like so just relaxed. And I know palm trees are relaxing anyways, but like I just feel drawn to certain like palm trees. And gosh, that's so crazy. And it's like,
hey, listen to that. Yeah. Try next time just to like, because when you connect to nature spirits, it's not something that happens in your head. It's a heart connection. Yeah. And when you open up that heart center, that energy point to that tree, you get a communication and it will happen. And that may come through feeling, or maybe you get a little vision in your head, or you just get like a sense of a sentence, like if something just pops in your head. When I teach my students, I always say, like, always go with the first thing that comes to mind before your logic brain takes over and talks you out of it.
Yeah, that usually happens to me quite often. My logical brain's like, no, that's not right. And then you just talk yourself right out of it. I do feel too, like if I get upset about something, or if I'm like upset about like my kids, because I have 3 boys and it is magical being a mom, and
that's the most magical thing on the planet, like being a woman in general.
And I just discovered too, and I didn't realize this, and maybe you can air this out a little bit. Like I had 2 C-sections, and energetically speaking, like my body didn't get a chance to like fully like allow the whole process to happen, right? Because I had to have C-sections, and like I'm harnessing and holding on to that energy because I didn't finish the process. Is that like true? Is that?
Oh, so we can get onto this in many levels, because I have what really got me into starting like the Wise Woman Network and stuff is I always had this vision of myself really helping women, and it really started when I got pregnant and was realizing how corrupt the medical system is against women, because the system teaches you you're just a little old woman, like a little young lady. You don't know anything about your body. Like you need to hand your power over to the man in the white coat. He knows more about your body. Childbirth is dangerous. You can't do it without the hero doctor. And 9 out of 10 times the intervention of a C-section is caused by the doctors themselves and saying, oh, you have to have your baby that by this date, like it's a calendar, like event. Like all of that is wrong in the medical rape that happens. There's so much and so many women that need to even unpack their birth story and their birth traumas in order to integrate that and get healing for it, because it's so untalked about. And it's like, we're supposed to just move on from that and not talk about it. Like, it's not trauma. Your baby's alive, so it doesn't matter. And that's gaslighting, and it's disturbing.
Yeah. So
how about your own birth story?
Like ours, like us coming into this life? Oh yeah.
I had the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck 2 different times. And so
that's actually normal. Really? So we're taught that birth cords around the neck is an emergency and you need to have a C-section for that. But that's just a variation of normal. A lot of times that happens when cords are extra long. That happens to stop cord prolapse from happening, like the cord coming out first, because that actually is a medical emergency if the cord comes out before the baby. So when they're like, my cord on my son was very short. Like I gave birth in water. I could barely hold him up. So it was a short cord. There was no, but that when they start wearing them, I mean, 3-4 wraps, it happens. And when you can still give a vaginal birth and just unwrap it. It's actually done for the safety of the baby. Like, it's like the baby knows what to do.
Yeah. So this was me when I was a baby coming out. Is my mom said that the doctor had to reach out with both hands and unwrap it a couple times. And I was like, is that why I'm so tired during the day? Because like, did it cut off like blood flow and oxygen? And is that why I'm so tired? Like, I just feel like I've got this energy where I need to be like sparked and like creatively excited to be like, okay, life.
Yeah.
I just wonder if that comes out of birth, or is it just.
Yeah, that I don't like. I know that the way we are born and how things happen and all of the medical interventions that happen at birth definitely shape, because like you're in the world. That's how you enter into this planet. Like it's like a spirit comes into the body of a woman. And then we like channel that out and then push that out into the earth. That's the most sacred act ever. And then like all of a sudden you go from like the waters of the abyss to life. And your first encounter with life is what? Goop in your eyes, a doctor ripping you out of your mother. Like it's a shock of like, oh my God, this is how earth is.
Right.
It's
So with the Wise Woman Network, so you're trying to connect women together and then help them. And
this actually stemmed on my spiritual path, because I was sitting in on a teaching and it was either one of our students, I think one of our students said it first, and then the person teaching astrology repeated what she said. Like I was driving, I just saw that they were live, so I hopped on really quick. And she was talking about the asteroid Vesta, which is the temple priestess.
Okay.
And she had said, what do you see yourself doing as a woman in the temple? And it hit me because like every other time I've studied Vesta, I always got the same image, and it was me holding the hand of a woman. She would either be pregnant or she would be trying to get through a hard situation, and I'd be holding her hand. And I always thought this is what my view of Vesta is. But when she said that, what are you doing in the temple? And then I had the same image. I'm like, oh my God. This whole time, that's been what I'm supposed to be doing in the temple. And I was already in this weird space of like I was calling it identity crisis, but like in a weird way, because it's like, I'm like, there's something major missing from my life. And I don't like I'm supposed to be doing something more than just teaching people to get in touch with their spirit. Like there's something more I'm supposed to be doing. And I started praying to my ancestors, specifically on my Ryukyuan side, which is now known as Okinawa. They were originally a matriarchy before Japan took over. And so I was praying to them a lot, and I had this dream and they showed me everything. And I woke up and it was just like I opened my eyes and like the interpretation came in and like the steps of what to do, just like boom, boom, boom. So I'm getting chills just talking about it.
I keep
So I
getting
like got
chills.
my journal. I'm like writing, because you know how like if you wait too long, the dream goes away. So I'm like writing down everything. And I just start researching and figuring out how to do this in an online platform. Eventually, I would love to have land and have people come on my land and like learn classes and learn homesteading and like especially women teaching women. But all women have an innate wisdom inside of them for something specific. It's just been turned off by society because we do live in a patriarchal society, and everything is for a certain program to be instilled, and women are the most powerful. The fact that we can birth life and bring death all at the same, like we're the most powerful. End of story. It's just that we have fear of even saying that and stepping into that, because it's like there's that subconscious fear of being put in our place. Like how dare you say something like that, you know? So I want women to get in touch with that power. And the way the network's set up, like while I may be doing like the back runnings of the network, there's no hierarchy thing. Like we have certain circles and groups within it that are like, I teach just spirituality. So like that's in my little group, but I want women to be able to come on there and be like, hey, I'm really good with like herbal remedies and making elderberry syrup. So like share that on there. And other women, there's like all kinds of categories, like herbal remedies for your family, homesteading. Like I'm going to be doing a post today on how to pickle vegetables for food storage. Like there's all kinds of stuff, spirituality. I have one lady that she's running a group on, it's just all on death and how to deal with death and grieving and what that looks, that's another taboo in our culture. No one knows how to deal with that. And then, I will be starting one on natural childbirthing and stuff like that. The network is brand new. It just launched on the 1st. So I'm trying to, develop it and like get it going and get people signed up. My cousin, she's an expert in like women's hormones and the cycles, especially like with the moon. And I love listening to her talk. Like it gets you so much more in tune. So she's going to be running a circle in there to get so that women can like learn more about their bodies. Cause it's another thing where like it's like, oh no, don't talk about your vagina. Like that's a cuss word, like call it something else. Like, you know, like
it's such a funny word to say though. Like really, I mean,
because
vagina.
of the societal construct around it. You know what I mean? So like, I just want this to be a place where women can like, come on there and cry if they want to, complain about something that's going on in their life, being like, what the fuck do I do with my kids? I don't know how to do this. And another woman can step up and be like, hey, when I went through this, this is what I did. Because this is how women for centuries supported themselves, really up until, the witch trials happened and stuff. It was like, we orally tell each other our stories. And then I keep getting chills. The silence of the woman is really what ended the wisdom. And if women talk, we get our power back, because it's like, hey, this happened. Like if all the women got together and talked about their births, we would be like, oh, that happened to me too. Oh, that's what they said to me too. And all of a sudden you're found out. You can't get away with shit anymore. How many men that run around and cheat on their women? If women are all talking and you don't look at other women as your enemy, you think that man's going to be able to cheat? No, because the next woman or the woman he's trying to go after is going to tell you. Right. So there's these little programs that are put in place of like cattiness or gossip or backstab, whatever, to keep women separate at all times. And I want women to come together again. I want them to realize you are powerful as fuck. You know stuff. And the more we talk to each other and share, the more we're going to know from each other and make this strong connection.
I feel that like on a cellular level. Don't you think, Carmen? I mean, I feel like 100%. I feel like too, like we're told like not to compliment another woman. If I've
Mhm.
been in the last couple of years, like not forcing myself, if it's like a natural, genuine compliment and I see someone, I say like, oh, wow, you're beautiful. Like I say it and it feels weird at first. And then
Mhm.
it feels like a little awkward, but it shouldn't. You should be able to compliment other women without feeling weird
Yeah.
about complimenting them
Yeah.
because it's like, what is it? All, like all tides rising, like everybody rises
Mhm.
All
together.
ships rise.
Yeah. And so I
Women
feel that.
sometimes even have a hard time receiving compliments.
Oh my
I
God. Yeah.
remember this experience. I had this woman I met had the most gorgeous eyes of anything I've seen. And I said to her, I'm like, your eyes are beautiful. And the first thing she did was shut them.
Really?
And I was like, she can't accept, but it's like we're taught that because if you accept a compliment, pride and your ego and it's like
Yeah.
and this isn't just with Christianity, every religion will do something to make it so like, oh, don't accept compliments, you don't be prideful, and it's everything's always geared towards women too. Like,
Right.
Yeah, don't put yourself on a platform, stay humble and shut up. This
no,
is
do
such
it.
a
If I give you a
huge,
compliment, I want that to go straight to your head. I want you to be inflated and walk around with your shoulders back.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And know that you have beautiful eyes or whatever it is I just complimented.
Yes.
This is
You
such a
know?
huge subject. I mean, it goes so deep.
It does.
Just right now, I mean, we're under attack for being women and they're trying to shut us down.
Yep.
So everything is just like a motherfuck. I say it so often,
Yeah.
like we're motherfucked every day, you know?
That's another nugget of wisdom. I like it.
Yeah.
I just realized too, that I do talk therapy as well. And I feel like there's different tools that you can do. And, the shame that I had for trying to better myself by getting therapy when I was younger, I should have done it decades ago, and now I have all this stuff to unpack. And, I'm doing the work, but at the same time, it's like, it was brought to my attention that I try to make myself small. I try not to draw attention, for different reasons from my upbringing. And
Yeah.
then when I do speak up, I feel bad. And I always end up making these undercut comments to like diminish like what I was trying to step forward and say. So everything that you're saying really makes sense. And by the way, I'm surrounded by all men. Like I'm like
Yeah.
everybody in my household is men. And I'm trying to teach my sons that, you know, I am a woman and I am their mom, but I'm also a woman and a wife and a friend. And there's more to me. And I'm just recently stepping into my power, reinventing myself with like a brand new career, and podcasting and connecting with other people. And I feel like Carmen said something to me before over a phone call. She said, we are not fully giving our children what they need by holding ourselves back. She probably said it in a different way. Didn't you say that like we're like underserving our kids by continuously serving them in ways that like we're catering to them? We need to empower ourselves so that we can empower our kids, Does that make sense? Is that what you were saying? Yeah.
Yeah, let them do more or else we're robbing them of experiences they're going to use for the future. And then we'll just become more and more dependent, like the umbilical cord wasn't cut, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it is up to us to raise the boys differently because I can tell you like so many of the women that come to me for readings and it's about their relationship. There's always, my husband doesn't do anything. I'm the only one who takes care of all the kids. I do the dishes. And like today, that the whole the fake women's liberation movement that was like, your work at home isn't important. You need to go into the workforce and work for the corporations in order to be important. And we'll call that women's rights. But all we did was take on a 9-to-5 and then we still have the 9-to-5 at home. So nothing changed for us other than more workload, but nothing changed for the man. Like it's like they still just work and come home. And that has to be shifted. But the only way we can shift that is by raising different men.
Right. Exactly.
Because it's so ingrained in the psyche of the adult males. It's like men have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
I would agree.
And it's funny you said about like making yourself small. I literally just made a post on this last week and I literally said in it, I won't make myself small for you. Like, It's like you ever get those, like, even in the grocery store, like, it's like there's always those memes, and it's like a joke about like you're rushing to put your change away, and like because you want to like because someone's behind you. It's like in those moments you can feel yourself, your shoulders go like this, like you're trying to get compact or something.
Right. Yeah.
But like women are told you need to be on a diet, you need to be skinny. Literally make your body physically smaller. In a lot of cultures, tribal cultures around the world, skinny women that are like undernourished, that's literally a sign that the men don't know how to properly care for their women because they're not good hunters if their women are underweight.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
So you're told to be physically small. Your emotions are too much. So you need to be smaller emotionally. If you speak your mouth, I get told this all the time, you need to be quiet, right? Know your place as a woman. So lower your mouth. Like we're always told, we're always told be little, but because women are so fucking big. And in order for certain structures to be in charge, they need to keep that thing of women need to be small and they need us to believe that, but women aren't believing that anymore because it is expired. We can't take it anymore. So now we're at the beginning of this rise up finally.
Yeah. I believe that. I remember I remember feeling when I was younger and going back to childhood when you're talking about like, you look back and reflect on your childhood and you see these like epiphanies and these things that happen. And then like now that you're stepping into your own, I remember I look back at my childhood and I remember like wanting to like be creative and expand and like be who I am. And I would like try to speak up, but I was always so quiet and shy. And then when I did speak up and when I did start expanding, I was told like, oh, you asked too many questions. You're Barbara Walters. Why are you Barbara Waltering me? And it's like, now I'm like stepping into those shoes and expanding and it feels good, right?
Yeah,
it feels
natural.
good. It feels natural. Yeah. And it's, also too, it's like looking back and reflecting and thinking like how I ignored something like just knocking on my door 3 different times. I ignored it because I thought, oh, I can't do that. I can't do voiceover. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. And I had other patriarchal, figures in my life, trying to stamp me down, taper my flame. And I cut that off. And it was almost like it was almost like I've been underwater my whole life. And now I'm at the surface and I've said this before, get to the island. I got a lot of work to do, but it's like, oh my God, what, like I know that I'm where I'm supposed to be. I just probably could have gotten here a lot quicker.
And there's not even such thing as that really. Like when you really get into like different spiritual things, like with astrology and stuff like that, you start realizing that like your path is the path and like where you are is perfect. And there's certain experiences that you have here as a human that become your medicine. And through those wounds, you make medicine and then you're able to give that medicine to other people that need it. So,
I like that.
Yeah.
That's
so
magic.
None of that.
Magic.
Exactly. That's what magic is. And none of that goes in vain, And so you can
this is what we were talking about.
I was like,
yes, like when I said to Jocelyn, I want to know how your brain works and your thought process when shit happens.
Chaos,
I think she flips it automatically to positive and that something good is going to happen. And that's what you said, your medicine. You make your medicine right there. You're making it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a difference between having the perception of life is happening to me rather than for me.
Yeah.
So, because if you're saying life is always happening to me or the situation happened to me, it's robbing you of your own power in the situation. And like when I entered this conversation, you guys were talking about chaos. And as humans, we hate chaos. We want everything mundane and boring and the same because it's safe. But when you start taking authority over your life, when chaos happens, you, as the magician, right? The magician of your own life. You can cast order how you want it and look at it in a certain way of like, well, this is what I'm going to do with this energy. So don't tell yourself a story about what's happening to you or, oh, fuck this, that. Be like, okay, like I'm going to take control of these energies and do something with it. Nature by nature is chaotic. The earth is chaotic. Everything's chaos. But humans,
nothing's in order.
Right. Humans is what put something in order, but it's always to your own perception as well, into what you're trying to box thing in as. you may walk into my house and be like, this is chaotic in here, because it doesn't align to what your value of, you know, the opposite of that is order. So
That's
everybody
interesting.
also, so like within things like the chaos